in the studio now, sitting across with Amy, who's joined us far away across the studio. How are you? Good morning. Are you good?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Good morning. Like, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, how funny is it? Because normally we're facing each other and I feel like, hello.
That's okay. Well, you get to sit across in the comfortable chair and I get to sit here in the studio chair, but that's good. So we've got a very special guest in the studio that we've been talking about throughout the breakfast show. Looking forward to meeting you and finding out all about your book. So welcome to the show, Sheila.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Amy. Great to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. You know, like, we've got Magic Mike boys coming in tomorrow, so we were very excited about that. But then this was like my thing, you know, like, because I'll let you explain a little bit more about who you are. But firstly, could you pronounce your second name, please?
My surname's Vijayarasa, but I call myself Sheila V. Like
Sheila
Gary V.
If I'd known that beforehand, I would have said that. But
It's a good Sri Lankan surname. It's nice and long and you can't pronounce it.
Yeah, see, that was the thing. I was like, I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm just going to get you to say it. Okay. So there we go. Now we know.
Well done.
Yeah. So you've had a very interesting life, Sheila. I mean, I know Sheila anyway. Me and Sheila met a few years ago, just before Sheila started on Psychic TV. And look at you now. Like, what a journey. So do you want to tell us and our audience a little bit about yourself?
Look, we met when I was training to go on Psychic TV, and I am a psychic medium. But you know something? I didn't always know this about myself. So I had a really traditional standard life. You know, I was raised in a really successful family. I became a chartered accountant. I got a scholarship to uni. I went on to do an MBA. I climbed the corporate ladder and then I made it to like CFO of a publishing house. And I loved that life, but there was always something niggling in me saying there's something you're meant to do. And, you know, there's so many answers to our calling and our purpose in our childhood. I loved astrology. I grew up in a family where we talked about spirituality. My dad's a retired doctor and my mother is a psychic, and they had an arranged marriage. So I'm the product of two very different people. And, you know, we talked about spirituality and it was my real love and my real calling. And I don't know if any listeners out here can resonate with this, but I suppressed this part of myself because I didn't think society was going to value it. For me, success looked like a big paycheck and a sparkly title. And so I kind of really let myself get conditioned by society and my culture and what I thought I needed to do. But the whole time, you know, as I was growing up, I thought, no, there's something more for me. So I had this massive spiritual awakening 7 years ago. And Amy, that's when I first met you because,
Isn't it crazy?
I lost my job, my apartment flooded, my relationship broke down, and I broke my foot all within 6 weeks.
that's a busy 6 weeks.
It was a busy 6 weeks.
So you said that you knew that you had this other calling, but how did you know that? And then how did you then get onto the right path, what you're on just now then?
You know, when you deny your calling, the universe will do a big course correction, and that's the road of trials I went through. So what happened to me was I didn't want to really be in my corporate job. And so every day I got to work and I wished I wasn't there. And I didn't realize it, but I was manifesting a job loss. And so what the universe did was they took everything away. So I had to step into my path. So there's two ways that you walk towards your calling. You do it powerfully, or the universe will do a course correction. It's called a road of trials. So I went through my road of trials and I went through a deep depression, and then I got a lot of courage. I got brave, and then I decided, no, I'm going to honor myself. So it took something to step out and call myself a medium and get training overseas and sit with other psychics and do this. But I thought this is what I'm meant to do with my life. So I think I got a push. That's the truth.
So were you interested in mediums and stuff beforehand, before you decided that's the kind of thing that you want to look into and to see about doing as a profession?
I was obsessed with that.
Right, okay.
You know, I'd spend my spare time studying it and researching it and talking about it, going and seeing mediums. So in some ways it was always my passion, but it was my side hobby, and I never thought it's something that I could actually do.
So that must have been a bit of a surprise when you discovered, oh, do you know what? The thing that I really enjoy investigating and getting done to myself, I think I might be a genius at it. I might be really good at this.
How did you know that, like, did you have a moment when, like, I don't know, like you downloaded some information about someone when you were like, oh, actually, like, I can do this?
Yeah, I did a workshop, and that's the best way to find out about your abilities. I did an intuition, a psychic development type workshop, and there's so many of them around now. And then I had all these experiences in the workshop, and I had a teacher just point out, you've got these abilities and these gifts and you need to start working with it.
Right. See, that's what I was trying to get to. Yeah. Where was the actual spark? What happened?
Yeah.
one thing. So it was a workshop that you went to,
It
and
was
the teacher came up to you and went, do you know what? You've got a special blue aura around you or something compared to the rest of the class. Rest of the class, go home. We're not interested in you. That we found our star pupil.
You know,
But
she
it was-
pointed it out, but you know something? It also spoke to my truth, because I just thought, yes, I've always known this about
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
I just needed someone above me, a teacher to give me that push, that encouragement. And it was an actual relief when they said it, because I thought, this is what I've been looking for my whole life. And I just needed permission.
How does it work for you then? How does it feel? Because I always wanted to know, like, I've had readings in the past, and you know, you've given me some like mini readings and stuff, and I always think, how do you distinguish between knowing your thoughts and any new information that is coming in?
To be honest, there's so many different ways we receive intuitive information. We receive it through sight, through hearing, you know, clairaudience is clear hearing. Feeling and knowing is the strongest way. So I find you need a strong meditation practice every morning to bring yourself to a place of stillness, and then starting to journal write the thoughts and feelings that are there. You might wrestle with with thinking these are my thoughts, and after a while you'll just know that it's coming from within you. It is an actual practice. You know, it's a dialogue with spirit, with the universe, with yourself. And, you know, when I teach students, when the truth comes through, I always say to them, if I tell you that's a lie or a non-truth, would you believe me? And they say, no, I know it's the truth. It really is that gut feeling, and you have to keep on practicing with that feeling every day to lock it in.
Oh,
There you go.
interesting.
Have you ever thought that you've been a medium, that you've been, you know, gifted? Or
No, I don't think I'm a medium. I think I'm
because you
very,
you love all that stuff, don't you?
You're
I
very
love-
intuitive, Amy. You've got a natural ability.
Yeah, I am intuitive, but I take a lot, for me anyway, like, because I've studied body language for so long and teach communication. So I'm very emotionally intelligent, and I understand people, you know, so I think sometimes I receive stuff about someone that maybe I'm picking up on just their presence. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's why, you know, for me, I can't say that it's like an ability or anything like that. Like, I'm certainly not, I would never compare myself to you at all.
Well, I think everyone's psychic. Everyone's got intuition. And I think COVID was the great spiritual awakening, where we had to all sit at home and be with ourselves. And on some level, everyone went back to some natural intuitive state. The distractions got taken away. Anything that could, you know, occupy our mind was removed. So we had to come back to ourselves and really go, what do I want from my life?
Yeah.
You know, how do I want to, you know, be going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked that, but I mean, having a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old run about the house for the whole COVID doesn't give you any peace, and you know, you can't sit with yourself at all. You're running after those guys. Okay, so are we going to do? We're going to do a reading. Is that correct? We're going to do a live reading. We'll go back to a song first of all.
Yeah, and we're also going to introduce Sheila's book that she's releasing this year. When is it? When's
In
it out?
May, it's coming out for Mother's Day.
In May.
Exciting.
Nice one. So what we could do is we'll come back, we'll do a reading, we'll also talk about the book a little bit. We'll talk about maybe giving the book away as some kind of special prizes for our lucky listeners as well.
That's great.
Great.
Fantastic.
We'll play a track. We'll come back to you very soon. This is Bondi Radio. Good morning.